Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody is well. Fun times, fun times. Man, there's so much going on. So much going on. We're going to jump all over the place. We're going to get to the topic eventually, I promise you, but there's a few other things that we're going to talk about before that. But before we talk about anything, let's do our normal rundown of. I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. Please be decent in the chat, no racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we are not going to tolerate it. I would ask you to please not engage with people if you see somebody saying something negative in the chat. Just let the moderators take care of them. Let's not give them the attention that they want, okay? So let's just make sure we do that. All right, so see what we got here. Delbert Jones is in the house. Carol Prince. Carrie Rat 1. Cray Rat 1. I don't know. Janet's here. Dale from Ohio. We got Bobby Farron's in the house. Anita's here. Michigan Lifestyle. Elvant. So, all right. So, anyway. Yeah, puppies are, just putting it out here in the beginning, puppies are 2 weeks away from being ready. So if anybody's interested in one of the puppies, please let me know, and we can make arrangements that way. Okay, so just letting you know ahead of time, 2 weeks away from the puppies being ready to go. It's amazing. So I got to tell you this. Let's see, what do I got? Oh, okay, it's just other side. Okay, I thought I had something like right here, but it's just my beard. Okay. So I made a discovery today, which I was absolutely I'm selling the puppies for $500 a piece. So if you are interested in buying a puppy, shoot me an email at preppernurse1@yahoo.com, and we will go from there. Okay. Wasn't a planned puppy; they weren't planned, but the rest, any money that I make will go to take care of the rest of the dogs. I have plenty. So I got to tell you this. So I had the puppies out. I'm playing with the puppies today. And the one puppy, he's got a really light face, okay? It's a boy. He's got a very light face. And up to the first joint, his paws and all that are very light as well. So I pick him up today, and I'm holding him, and I'm petting him a little bit. And I look in his eyes, and I'm like, no freaking way. No way. That puppy's not going anywhere, folks. That's the pup. I'm keeping at least him. And the reason is he has blue eyes. This puppy has blue eyes. I'm like, no freaking way. I've never, ever seen a German Shepherd with blue eyes. I've seen, like, the Dalmatians have, like, one blue and one brown. Huskies, Siberian Huskies, they'll have the blue eyes. I've never ever seen a German Shepherd with blue eyes. So he's not going anywhere. He's staying here. So yeah, I know. More dogs, that's all I need. I need like a hole in the head, but guess what? I don't care. They're my dogs. So I'll worry about that. So anyway, what do we got? 145 in the chat already, guys. We got 46 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate that ahead of time. It really does make a tremendously huge with the algorithms. So the more interaction, the better. So I do appreciate it for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So the next thing I want to talk about, completely unrelated to the topic of this live stream, if you saw today, if you saw the other day, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton were both subpoenaed to testify before Congress. And neither one of them showed up. Hillary was supposed to go today, was a no-show. Bill was supposed to go the other day. He was a no-show. Now, just to put it into context, other people that have been subpoenaed to speak before Congress that decided not to, ended up in jail, right? They ended up in jail. That's okay, Ed. I'm weak when it comes to doggies too. Oh yeah, I'm way weak. I love animals. Um, so the question is, they've refused to come before Congress and testify. How come they're not being arrested? Right? That I think that's a good question. Hillary probably wiped the subpoena off her desk, right? But again, you know what I mean? It's like if everybody else has to follow the rules, they don't get a pass. That's just my take on it. They're subpoenaed. Even if you go and you say, I refuse to answer the question on the grounds it may incriminate me, whatever, but if you're subpoenaed, you need to go. So I found that to be quite interesting. It's not like they didn't know they were subpoenaed. They did know, they chose not to go. So very, very interesting on that one. Okay, yeah. So here's the thing too. So that was going to be the third thing I was going to talk about. So Verizon, that's who I have. I have Verizon, for my internet and for my phone. A lot of issues today with Verizon all across different parts of the country. Outages, people weren't able to use their phones, get internet or anything like that. So I find it interesting. I don't really know what the reason is for why that happened, but that is absolutely something that, I mean, I'd have to find out more about it. I mean, people, they're saying equipment malfunction. Could it be a cyber attack on that? It could be. Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know. So I definitely think that it's interesting that it's only happening to Verizon, and yeah, they're playing the executive privilege card. I don't know, JJ. They still got to follow the rules like everybody else does. But anyway, so if there was an equipment failure or whatever, but it shouldn't have affected that much. So who knows what's going on? Honestly, even if Verizon already knew, they probably are never going to tell us. I mean, be honest, they're probably not going to tell us. So, another one I saw that I got to tell you guys, I died laughing. So you had some other moron decided that she was going to block ICE today, and she was arrested, right? And so they got her in handcuffs, and she was, I guess, must have been fighting them, because you got one officer on one arm, one officer on another arm, another officer has her legs, and they're walking her, when she's, basically this way, and she's talking the whole time. Verizon was hit nationwide. Yeah, so there's more to it. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what they say. But even when they say whatever they're going to say, you take that with a grain of salt as well. But so they're carrying this woman to the police car to put her, in the car. And so, first of all, she says, I'm trying to remember the sequence of. But anyway, I don't know what the sequence exactly what she said, but what she was like, I'm disabled. That was okay. Yeah, I'm disabled. I have a brain injury. Those were the first two. Then she says, I have autism. I was just trying to go to a doctor's appointment. No, she wasn't, and she probably doesn't have the other ones either. So it's just, I absolutely, these people are so unhinged. They're really, and guys, again, another white woman, right? Why is the majority of these people white women? I just, yeah, she should have thrown it. Well, she forgot to say I can't breathe, and then she could have used the ever famous I'm pregnant, right? I do believe the brain damage, Frank Grant. I like that. Yes. I'm going to tell you right now. Hopefully, this will never happen. But if by some offhand chance that I ever get arrested again, okay, it's happened a few times in the past. I'm going to do, and I'll be standing up because I'm not going to fight the police. I'm just going to do whatever they tell me to do. But once they put me in handcuffs, I'm going to say two things. I swear to you guys, if it ever happens, I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And then I'm going to say, oh, well, no, wait a minute. I'm going to go, I'm pregnant. Yes, I'm going to say that, Elvant. Yes, I'm going to, that'll be the second thing. I'm pregnant, because those are the two standard things whenever you see shoplifters get arrested, right? Those are the two standard things that they say. First of all, they can't breathe, but they're talking, so they're breathing. And then they're always pregnant. So, but yeah, I would do that. And then I would laugh because, I'm a bit of an a-hole. So not really a bit of one. I can be one. So, but anyway, that's what I would do. So that I just think that that's funny. I have a weird, twisted sense of humor. So, I'm a middle-aged white woman with brain damage, and I don't do any of that stupidity. It's lonely there. Yeah, no kidding. Here's the thing that kills me. These people are interfering with, and of course, you got this mayor, being a jerk as well. You got the governor, obviously, being a jerk as well. We don't want you here, and all these people, they're following ICE around. And when ICE is making arrests and getting people off the streets, they're making, a spectacle of everything. Everything is a spectacle. They're under the they're under the microscope. These ICE agents are, it's just the craziness of it all is unbelievable to me. They're arresting people who came into this country illegally, right? So when you have the squad up there today, what's left of the squad, because some of them have been kicked out of office, up there today talking and saying, these people haven't committed any crimes and blah, blah. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. They're here illegally. That's a crime. They did not come to this country the legal way. So I'm sorry, you can sugarcoat it any way you want to, but the fact is a fact. All right. If they're here illegally, they need to go. Period. End of story. No debate, none of that stuff, What about the prosecutors resigning in Minnesota? I saw that too. The whole thing up there, and then and I love how they're trying to when I say them, I mean the left, the Democrats are deflecting from the fraud thing. Well, the alleged fraud, they'll say, alleged fraud. It's already been proven. It's been going on for a while. You've had whistleblowers that said that Walsh knew it was going on for years, and anybody that tried to stop it was, fired or shot down, the whole 9 yards. And it's just like, really? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand how people can be against. Well, because it's what Trump wants, right? And it's really not just what Trump wants. Trump went on a platform, folks, and said, I will get rid of the illegal aliens that are here in our country, right? That was his platform. He was elected into office because a lot of people wanted that exact same thing to happen, right? They wanted that exact same thing to happen. So now this small group of people are trying to disrupt, cause problems, interfering with these guys for doing their job. They're doing their job. And I'm sorry, but when they're taking pedophiles and rapists and scumbags off the streets, I applaud that. And if you get caught up in the net, right, and you're here illegally, which is also a crime, then guess what? Bye-bye. Okay? So there you go. I realize the Democrats are losing, they're losing voters here because those are future voters. It's just insane. The whole thing is insane. I watch this and I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? What is wrong with, I just don't get it. So anyway, so that's quite interesting. All right. I want to talk about today, guys. Big storms coming through, right? I just talked to my mom a little while ago. They have like 10 inches of snow coming, which up in New York, 10 inches of snow is not a lot of snow. Just Putting it out there. That's not a lot of. It's not a lot of snow. Um, but there's storms coming across. A lot of people are going to be affected. A lot of snowstorms. Other places are going to obviously get hit harder and stuff like that. So I'm going to give you a scenario. I was thinking about this today. Our weather kind of has changed here. It was more, yeah, small people on a payroll. Exactly. Call it agitators. You're exactly right. Yep, exactly. So, yeah, they're paid agitators. So anyway, so I'm going to give you a scenario and we're going to talk about this because to me, this is very, very plausible. Okay. I was thinking about this today. Now, the weather here has changed. Now, right now, it is raining outside. Overnight, we're supposed to drop down. We're going to be in the teens. So this rain will turn to snow. We're not supposed to get a whole bunch. We're going to get some. And then it's going to be whatever it's going to do, it's doing. But right now, it's rain. Okay. Overcast all day. Temperatures were in the 40s here today. And like right now, it's still like 41 degrees or 40 degrees or something like that right now. But the temperatures are going to drop down through the night. But a lot of places are getting ready to get really hit with a lot of snow. Okay. So here's a scenario that I wanted to talk to you guys about because I think that this is really, really important. And I think people need to be prepared as best they can for these. And it's a real possibility. Okay. We know, our government knows that there are probably at least and this is the estimate. Okay. It could be more, it could be less. So I'm just going to give the estimate. There are at least 1,000 trained Al Qaeda fighters in the United States of America right now. Right. They know that. They're around different places. Who knows where they're all at, waiting on orders. Right. So here's a plausible scenario that I wanted to talk about and tell me if I'm wrong on this one, okay? So we have these snowstorms come in, and they're coming right now. Got a whole bunch of snowstorms coming in. They hit a wide range of places in the Northeast. And can I be a page agitator to agitate the paid agitators? Oh, I like that, Ace. I like that. That's actually very, very funny. So snowstorm hits, blizzards happen all the time, especially in the Northeast. They get dumped with a lot of snow, and then the crews get to work and they clean everything up, right? But what about this scenario, guys? So the storms come through, and they're right in the middle of these major snowstorms. So who's busy, right? You have emergencies going on. There's like they'll say restricted travel, don't be on the roads. So the police are engaged. They're busy. They are dealing with accidents. They're dealing with all kinds of stuff because of the storm, right? What if at that point, these operatives that are here in this country that they know are here decide that that's the time that they're going to attack the power grid? Now, I want you to think about this, right? Blizzard, normal, it happens. People are used to it. They're used to temporary power outages, right? And so power goes out. They're not thinking anything of it because that's a normal everyday event that happens during a blizzard. The power will go out. So they're going to sit in their houses like everybody does and wait for the power to come back on. And if they're prepared and if they live, in these states that have this happen, this is a normal thing. And some of them are ready. Some of them are not. The majority are not, right? They're not. How much food do you have in your house? All those type of stuff. So everybody's already run out. They've already all run out and got their milk and their bread. They did that already because that's the due diligence that people do. Because there's a storm coming. We're going to get milk and bread. So then they go back home. Power goes out and that happens, right? But the power goes out not because of the storm, but because these agitators are going around and hitting all these substations or major stations. They would probably be hitting both. There would probably, like I said, if you have a coordinated attack, and you're a group of, let's say there's 5 of you in this little cell, you got the cell of 5, right? So you have 2 that are standing watch in case the police do come, while the other three are busy attacking that substation, right? Because they're not manned substations, guys. They're usually in the middle of nowhere. So they hit that one, they do maximum damage that they can do. They load back up in their van or whatever they're driving, and they go to the next one. And they have a list of ones that they're going to hit, and they're going to keep going until they're stopped. And they continue to do that. But the people are unaware of that, right? Because the power's out. Power's out because they think, oh, the storm is here and the power's out, and that's a normal thing, and we'll just deal with that. But now the power's not going to come back on. And now these folks are in their homes. What you would see happen with inside of a couple of days, again, you're not getting any news of that on the news because there is no power. While the cell phones are working, you might be able to get notifications, but if that's on the list to be attacked too, right? The cell towers, that could be a very real possibility. You now have no knowledge of what's going on. You're like, oh wow, man, I can't get any cell phone. There's my cell phone's not working. I can't get any Wi-Fi. I wonder what's happening. Well, it might be the storm, and that's what you would think normally. So now a couple days are going by. Nobody's plowing the roads now, guys, because nobody can get gas. They can't get the gas out to do the trucks. Any emergency stuff that's going on is going to be diverted to the hospitals because there's still going to be people that are going to have heart attacks, are going to be in car accidents, they're going to be having babies, whatever the case may be. So all those resources would be, geared towards making sure that, well, if people have ham, a lot of people don't have ham. And if they have ham, how many people in their neighborhood? Like maybe one guy might have a ham radio, but he can't get out of his house. He can't go tell anybody, right? Especially if he's in the country, he can't tell nobody because there's nobody to communicate and talk with close. So again, the communications would get out eventually. But the problem would be people would be snowed in. They wouldn't be able to leave. It's not like they could go jump in their car if it's a major snowstorm that's happening, and by the time they realize now you got, 20, 25 inches of snow everywhere that's not being plowed, that's in the roads. You're not going anywhere unless you have a snowmobile. Now, again, will there be people that are going to be able to get around because of that? Yeah, as long as they still have gas. So again, you would be talking about disaster on a level that would be unbelievable, and it wouldn't be just located in one region. I mean, it could be the whole state, a whole bunch of states all happening at once. So the emergency response by our government, I mean, look at their response, guys, for isolated events in certain areas. It's a mess. So if you're looking at an area, you would be looking at people would be freezing to death in their homes. It's just, it would be horrific. It would be horrific. And like I said, people would not be able to get out. See, I love all these. That's great. Get skis or snowshoes. Yeah, that's great. But where are you going, Kathleen? Where are you going? Sub-zero temperatures, winds blowing, storms going on. Where are you going to go? I mean, the reality is people are going to get stuck wherever they're at. And however well they're prepared and ready for that is going to be the difference if they make it or not. Now, maybe if they're in an area where neighbors are fairly close to each other, they can work together. And I think people would. I really do. I think people would go, hey, Mrs. Smith's 80 years old. I don't know how well she's doing. Let's go and check on her. Those things absolutely would happen, okay? But let me ask you, right? We're going to use we'll use New Jersey and New York as a great example, down in like the New York City area, right? They're getting rid of all the gas, the propane and all that stuff. All these buildings are all electric now. So nobody's going to have a propane stove where they can fire up the propane stove and keep warm that way with the propane. They're not going to have that. They have all electric buildings that there's no way that, and a lot of those people, they're not ready for squat, guys. They're not ready for anything. What do we got? 295 in the chat. We're at 125 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. It really does make a big, big difference with the algorithms. Again, more interaction, the better it is for the channel. So I do appreciate it for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And again, I thank you ahead of time. So going back to what we're talking about here, it would be a nightmare on an unprecedented level. The cops, the emergency crews would have their hands full. They would be so busy, they wouldn't know what to do. Because of the fact is, and then what the people that are attacking the grid, now what about now? Maybe they start, who knows what they're going to do? You know what I mean? What do they do once their mission of hitting these 5 or 6 substations? What are they going to do then? Right? Do you think they're just going to pack it up and head back to someplace else? These people are willing to die for their cause. They're willing to die. They don't care. It's not like they're not rational people. So again, people would be stuck wherever they are because again, if they don't have skills, if they don't have knowledge, if they're not prepared, and again, we've talked about this how many times? 93% of the people in this country, 93%, I want you to think about that number. How many millions and millions and millions of people that is, are not prepared for a 2-week disaster or anything longer. They're not prepared at all. They don't have water. They don't have food. They don't have alternate heat sources. They don't have alternate electricity. Now, again, when you got out into the country, those people have a tendency to be a lot more self-sufficient. So I think a lot of those people might be able to make it through. But you look at all the states that want to do away with you having a wood stove. They don't want you to have a wood stove because supposedly we're saving the environment, right? They're wanting all these things gone. They don't want you to have these things. They don't want you to be ready. They don't want you to be prepared. That type of a scenario, you're looking at maximum casualties. And even if you have decent neighbors, and even if you have good people around you, there's still going to be people that you can't reach, that you can't help, and you can't save them all. And that would be the reality of it. And again, the other part of this is, and I want you to think about this, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? Do they have a center someplace? Well, where's the communication to tell you where to go? Unless you are in that loop ahead of time and go, well, if there's an emergency, we'll go to XYZ spot and they'll be there to help us out. What if they're not? What if they haven't been able to set that up? They can't get there. How are they getting there to get it set up? You know what I mean? So that's what you got to think about. When you're not able to drive on the roads, when you can't do those things, what are you going to do? And again, even if the plows are out, they can't refill. How are they refilling those plows? So again, think about that. And now the priority is going to be, if they have the plows, what are we keeping open? Right? Where are we going to plow? So, all those things you have to take into consideration. And that's a really realistic expectation of what can happen. Yeah, Mad Max time. And people would be losing their minds, folks. But again, what are you going to do? You don't have food. You don't have adequate shelter. I mean, you're living in your apartment or you're living in your house, but you don't have a backup heat source. How are you staying warm when the temperatures outside could be 8 degrees? So it's just, it's ridiculous not to be prepared. I agree, Cindy, 100%. But again, the majority of people are not. They're not. So, but, it's just, It's a very, very sad thing. It's a scenario that really is plausible. It really could happen, and people need to think about those things. Um, we live in Wyoming. We are all preppers. I'm sure there's a lot, not probably not all, but I'm sure there's a lot. But again, it's depending on where you are. There's a kid that I watch that he's up in Minnesota, and they heat strictly with wood. He has solar, for power. So, he would be okay, and his family is all that same kind of mindset. So they would be okay. But a lot of people would not be. A lot of people would not be, because when, again, you look at the numbers, that number of 1,000 Al Qaeda well hidden operatives, actually 2,800 according to Homeland Security. Wow, okay. Well, and that's a lot. And again, if they're doing coordinated attacks, and not just attacking people or going in to try to get high body counts. Yeah, Kyle's Cabin. Yep, exactly, Dale from Ohio. Love that kid. I've been watching him for years. Really, really, I mean, it's very, very fun to watch him because he just gets it done. He started his family with his girlfriend there. They got a son together now. Stanley. I love I love that name, Stanley. But the kid's a great kid. So if you actually, guys, if you haven't seen his channel, Kyle's Cabin, go check that out. Great, great channel. Very self-reliant, very, very, taking care of business. And it's just amazing to watch what this kid is doing. And now, they just started on a new property. And I know he had his old property there, but very, very neat. Very, very, very cool to watch. But anyway, again, a lot can happen, and a lot can happen really, really quickly. Um, you know, we got to pay attention to stuff. You got to look, guys. Look at what gold and silver are doing. Gold closed today at, I think, 93.56 an ounce. It's backed off a little bit. It's at 92 and change now, in after hours trading. But that's insane. It's never been that high. Silver's never been that high, and it don't look like it's coming down. It doesn't look like it's coming down. Um, Gold is at 4,600 an ounce, which is crazy. I said silver. Silver's at 90. Well, it closed at 93 and change today. And right now it's backed off. It's at 92 something. But that's outrageous. It's never been that high. Never been that high. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. And like I said, and then gold is like 4,600 an ounce. Now that's backed off after hours trading as well, a little bit. But I mean, these are outrageous numbers. 90.82 at the moment. Okay, thank you. But yeah, but even that, I mean, that's crazy. Those are like unprecedented numbers. And I just saw something, and I don't know if this is true or not. So please don't hold me to this. I just saw that like the U.S. Mint is not issuing any new silver, not selling any more silver right now. That would be really concerning as well. To me, that's really concerning. Um, so that's true. Okay, so that should be something. It should be a huge red flag. That's a huge red flag, folks. Okay, um, you know, with silver and gold going the way that they're going, it means people do not have confidence in the dollar. They don't. So they go to precious metals. They hedge their bets. They go to precious metals, and that's what's happening. And again, I would really, really strongly suggest. I'm going to continue to encourage you. Keep stocking up. Keep getting ready. Now, for those of you that watched, I just did a shopping haul for the group, and I tried to be a little bit more diverse this time, and expand what we're doing, because a couple of things are really, really important. Okay, uh, I've been watching a lot of stuff, watching people that are preppers that dealt with emergencies that happened, and they were eating their stores, their beans and their rice and those type of things. And the one guy that I was watching, he changed up what he did before the next emergency happened, and another one happened, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But what he said, that after about a week of eating nothing but rice and beans, they were getting food fatigue from just eating that and not having options, and not having different ways to change it up. And I've talked about that by getting your gravy mixes, your turkey, your beef, and your chicken gravy, getting those type of things. And so, but anyway, he said because of that situation, and then they felt really tired because they weren't getting enough fat in their diet, right? So he had done some research, and he had made recommendations, and G or ghee. I'm sorry, I keep saying it. I keep want to call it G, but ghee, it which is rendered butter, and that is a great fat source, right? So that will last forever, ghee, and that's going to, like, if you have your rice, for an example, and you're able to put that rendered butter on there, and another source and change of taste and stuff like that. But ghee will last forever. It won't go bad because once they've rendered it down, it is a great thing to have. Walmart sells it. I picked up some more of that yesterday as well. And like bouillon cubes, guys, is another one, right? Changing up the taste. Again, you're looking to change that taste up of whatever you're cooking. One of the other things that I picked up yesterday as well was coconut milk. And you probably would think coconut milk, huge, huge fat content in coconut milk. It'll last up to 5 years. So you can put that into a soup. When you're making a soup, you put a can of coconut milk into that soup, and now all of a sudden, boom, you're good. Yeah, and the soy sauces, I picked those up as well. Teriyaki sauce and soy sauce. I picked those up as well because, again, it's a change of taste. You're looking to change the taste. If all you have to eat, right? If all you have to eat is beans and rice, you're going to need to change the taste of it day to day with spices. Again, adding, your gravy mixes or your bouillon cubes or whatever it is. So, but again, it's like the more that you can diversify what you have in your preps, the better your chances are going to be longer term as far as getting ready goes. So I think it's really, really important to try to get as much as you can. Do you need your rice and beans? Absolutely. Those are your staples. Here's another, and this is, we picked up, I did the shopping. But as a group, we picked up another 50 pounds of sugar, right? Because I want you to think, so, and I've talked about this before. And again, let's say, I'll put when SHTF happens, right? When it happens, certain things you are not going to get anymore. One of them will be granulated sugar, right? Thank you very much. Yep, you beat me to it. Another one you're not going to get is coffee. So that's why I've talked about many, many times, freeze-dried coffee, stock up on it. Because if I have sugar and I have coffee in excess, I can use that to barter, right? Because there are going to be things that I forget. So I'll give you a good example of something, okay? Where I'm in the country. So like my neighbors across the way, I'm going to use them as an example. They have sheep, right? Well, SHTF has happened, and I'm in communication with them, and I'm talking with them, which I do plan on doing with my neighbors. Hopefully we can all work together. And so I say to them, listen, I would love to have 2 of your sheep. What do you need for 2 sheep? And then we make a barter. If it's liquor, right? Because I have excess liquor here. I got that stashed away. If they want, sugar, if they want, coffee, whatever, those are things that people are still going to want, folks, because that's normalcy. that's something that they can wrap their head around and say, yes, I remember having this and I want it and stuff like that. So, those are things that you need to think about. The other, I talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about this again. Wheat berries, okay? Wheat berries are a great thing to have in your preps because not only can you grind the wheat berries down to make flour in the form of a wheat berry, it's a 30-year shelf life. If you have regular flour that's already been rendered into flour, you're looking at a year and a half at best, okay? So, please explain how you use drinking alcohol as a severe painkiller in a crisis. Oh, that's another thing too. Okay, so Lamb's Light just asked me to explain this, and I think that this is a good one as well. So it's an SHTF situation. You have somebody that's been severely injured, and you got to fix them, right? You don't have any painkillers anymore. You don't have any painkillers. So you have alcohol. You can get them drunk, right? Get them drunk because it's, it blocks your everything and you don't feel it as much. And that would be vodka. Not only could it be used as an antiseptic, right? Vodka. You can use that as an antiseptic, get the person liquored up. So now you got to do what you got to do with them, and they're not going to be in as much pain at that moment because they're hammered. Okay. So that's another thing. And believe me, that's going to be important. You don't want to see people suffer. So unless you're loaded up on painkillers and all that good stuff, then, that is definitely an option, from that perspective. So that's something else that needs to be thought about as well. But going back to the wheat berries, okay, not only can you grind them up for flour, you can also plant them to grow more wheat because, again, you're going to have what you have. I think I have 250 pounds of wheat berries on hand. That's what I have here. And so, again, what you're going to have, what you have. And I can't emphasize that part of it enough, that people really need to understand that when the time comes, you're going to have what you have. There's no more going to the store. There's no more, I'm going to make this last trip. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Whatever you got is what you got. So the more prepared you are, the better your chances for long-term survival are going to be. And that's, that's why we do what we do here. We don't just want to survive, folks. We want to thrive. That's the goal. So, but real quick again, we got 289 in the chat. We're at 179 on the thumbs up, so we're 21 away from 200. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I really do appreciate it. It really does make a big difference with the algorithms. The more interaction, the better for the channel. So again, I do appreciate it for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Excuse me. And make sure you hit that bell notification to get all notifications as well. And again, I thank you ahead of time for that also. Once you grind wheat berries, you can make bread. Yes. Yep. Yes. That's why you have the wheat berries in the wheat berry form. You got to have that grinder, render it down that way, and then you can make bread. That's, because we like our bread. We're, Americans, we like our bread. Other countries are the same way. We like our bread as well. So I think that that's an important thing. But again, some of those wheat berries need to be saved to be planted. You're going to want to get, be your own doctor. Well, you better hope you got somebody with medical training in your group. So that's an important thing too. Making sure, because be your own doctor. That sounds great in theory. That's a wonderful thought, but not everybody has the constitution for that. They don't. Not everybody can, deal with blood and puke and crap and all that type of stuff, or open wounds or whatever the case. It's all about training. Exactly. Being ready. It's like what I've always said was this: when SHTF happens, I'm no longer a nurse. I am now the doctor. And I realize that. And I have other nurses in my group as well. So, we have a lot of us that can work together. Can I help you? You are not going out, not right now, but thank you for asking. Uh, all right, guys. Um, it is egg count time. So, how many eggs today? Yes or no for Miss Betty White? And how many of the Easter eggers laid today? I have 3 Easter eggers. So, Dr. Egg. Yeah, well, that's what it would be, you know. Um, and we would do what we would have to do. So I'm going to give you guys a moment to get your guesses in, and we will go from there. Almost put out the answer. Yeah, Denise, you can't guess now. Denise is one of my hardcore members. I did my hardcore live stream at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. I do it every Wednesday. So they have already had the answer. They already know. So anybody that was in the hardcore member live stream can't guess in the regular live stream because they already know the answer. So just give you guys another minute here to get your guesses in, and then we'll go from there. All right. After a long time on the sideline, the champ is back. The champ is number one once again. DJ with the correct answer today. Good job, DJ, by the way. 7 eggs today. No for Miss Betty White still. And 2 Easter eggers today. So I was really, really happy about that today. I had 6 eggs yesterday, getting 7 eggs today. Really super happy about that. So congratulations to DJ. You've won absolutely nothing once again, but you are happy about it. So he's been, guys, I got to tell you what, as you guys know, anybody that's in this live stream on a regular basis, DJ, I'm back. That's right. He's had like a dry spell, and DJ is by far the most guesses when it comes to egg count. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, he's probably guessed correctly 15 times more than the next, up to 28 wins. Yeah, probably, it's even more than that then. Probably 20 times more than the next closest person. So, but but it was a good egg day. I was really happy about that part of it. So, I had gone out today and got more straw. I had to gas up. So I got to tell you about that, right? So I was out yesterday doing the shop. In the area that I was at yesterday, gas was $2.89. One place I saw it at $2.85. On the way back through, the one area had gone from $2.89 to $2.99. Okay. Well, there's another place that I go when I go get my straw that week 10 days ago, they were at $2.62. So I was like, I'm not getting gas over here. I know I'm going to go get straw tomorrow, meaning today. So I'm just going to wait and go get the gas over there. I went over that way. The gas was $2.57 over there. So that's a huge, huge difference. That's 42 cents a gallon. Well, if you're getting 20 gallons of gas, that adds up in a hurry. So that's what I ended up doing today. I gassed up. I had one empty gas can. So the way that I do with my gas rotation, guys, whatever gas that I use in my generator, right? When that can is empty, I take that can and I fill that can. I got gas stored in a spot, and it's all in like a U shape. Okay, I'll take and put that gas can in this spot and take the next gas can out, and that's the gas that I will use first. And so that way, that new gas goes into the rotation. That's the newest gas. That's not getting used again. The oldest gas is getting used first. It works out good that way, and I've never had a problem doing it that way. So, and I've been doing it that way when I was in New York. I've been living off grid now. What am I up to now? I'm trying to remember. 11, 12 years now, something like that. Maybe it's more than that. I'm trying to remember. No, it's probably, I think it's 11 years. I think 11, 12 years. Okay, Carol. Carol knows. Thank you, Carol. Stop. You're not, you want to go out? Do you want to go outside again? No. You going out, Clyde? Go on. Go. Ugh. Outside time. Well, I don't mind if it's like the last 15 minutes of the live stream. I don't want her any problems with dirty electricity from the generator. No, no, not at all. 205 in Port Arthur, Texas. Wow, that's awesome, Cindy. That's really good. But anyway, I was happy with 257. I'll be honest with you. Very, very happy about that. Ed, should people be worried about shelf life of meds, antibiotics, etc., or shelf life of meds and antibiotics? You got to pay attention. Certain meds do go bad, so you definitely have to pay attention to that. Whatever, like if you're getting Dayquil, NyQuil, I wouldn't worry about that. That's going to be fine. I think there is, was it aspirin? I think aspirin's one of the ones that too many years out, it does go bad. Antibiotics should be just fine. You shouldn't have any issues with antibiotics. So it's a good one to, like I said, have stocked up on. I have, when I had my surgery 10 years ago, all right, I still have Oxy from that. Now, that'll lose strength over time, but it's still going to be good, But I still have that from when I had that surgery. That's just put away, forgotten about, ready to go when the time comes. We're going to need painkillers, So, I buy Advil. When I buy Advil, I get the big bottle, and it might take me a year or more to use up a bottle of Advil, probably more than that. But you know what so that's got a long time. So, but so that's diabetic pills. That I don't know. I don't know what the shelf life of that is. So over-the-counter meds start to break down after 10 years, not liquid. There you go. So there's a, yeah, they'll last a long time. And again, if you're buying stuff that you use on a regular basis, you just keep that rotation going. Like I have vitamins, guys. I have, so I had gone, I got to tell you this real quick. I hope you get a kick out of this one. So I had gone out and I have I do 3. I do vitamin C, I do zinc, and then I do vitamin D3, right? So those are my 3 that I'll take. And so I had been using them and I was getting down on them. And I'm like, I got to go buy some more. So not only did I buy a replacement bottle, I bought another backup bottle. And then I found that I had, 2 of each already set aside somewhere else that I had forgot were there. So, but that happens. But so I'm good on that for a while. Now that's another thing that I would highly recommend that you stock up on is the different meds that you like to take or vitamins that you want to take. Vitamin C is going to be a big one. Promotes healing. Vitamin D3, we need that vitamin D, especially if you live in the Northeast and you're not getting the sunshine that you would normally get. You need that supplement. Okay. And zinc also helps promote healing as well. So those are things you're going to need. We're going to be a lot more active after an SHTF event. All of us are going to be. It's going to be an adjustment. We're going to be sore. We're going to be in pain. So if you like Tylenol or if you like Advil or whatever, you like, or aspirin or whatever the case may be, I would suggest having those stocked up because it's going to take you a while for your body to adjust and you're going to have some issues with pain. As far as that goes. So, be ready for that. Why be my thing is this: why be uncomfortable if you don't have to be, right? So if yeah, massage therapy. Yeah, well, we actually have a massage therapist in the group as well. So so that's a good one as well. Again, so being able to know what to do and how to do it. You know, no painkillers for me. I get ugly and mean. Well, and if as long as you know that, then that's good. But I like I said again, you if you ever sit down and go, okay, what do I need? It can be very overwhelming, very overwhelming. Any of us, okay, any of us are never going to be as ready as we need to be. Never. Even a group like my group. Now we're making strides, and I'm really happy with our progress. But there's a lot more that we want to do and prepare down here to be ready. Eventually, I would love to see in the meadow down here. I would love to see four or five greenhouses ready, going, growing, having all kinds of stuff that we can and do everything else with. Love to have that. Um, you know, we're going to do the best that we can. I would love to have more than one root cellar. I want my underground bunker to be completed. I mean, so there's a lot, that had a smokehouse. Absolutely, yeah. An outdoor oven that you could cook pizza or whatever in. Something again that you can, do those type of things. So there's a lot that I want a hot tub one day. Love to have that. A wood fire hot tub that you fire up the fire and heats up the water and hop in that old hot tub in the middle of winter and just have a good old time. And that's another way to relieve stress. Or if you're sore and you've had a long day, being able to get in there and relax. Those are important things as well. you know Being prepared is not only about, everybody thinks about the three B's, right? Beans, bullets, and band-aids. That's what people think about when it comes to prepping. But it's so much more than that. Your comfort, being able to have clean clothes, being able to wash those clothes, being able to, enjoy meals, not just I'm eating because I have to eat and this is all I got. Having diversity in that. I mean, if you could have it set up, guys, and that's what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to give you an idea. So Monday, all right, we'll just kind of break this down. So Monday is rice with chicken and teriyaki sauce, right? So that's our main meal. Throw some vegetables in there uh, as well. So that's going to be our Monday. Then Tuesday, we're going to have spaghetti with sauce and hamburger in that spaghetti. So there's your Tuesday. Then Wednesday, we go, okay, Wednesday, we're going to make chili. We're going to use some of our beans. We're going to make chili, right? So we have chili on Wednesday. Then Thursday, we're having, beef with, again, maybe you throw rice in there again. But again, you if you can switch that up, that and plan a menu, if you will, like a 2-week menu in fish, right? Have fish or tuna fish. We're gonna have, tuna fish could be like a lunch, tuna fish one day, and just like switch. You got to switch it up. You can't eat the same thing day after day after day. You'll lose your mind. Any of us will. You'll not want to eat. Okay. Breakfast. What are we having for breakfast? So one day, depending on how many eggs we're bringing in, maybe so let's say we're bringing in 30 eggs a day, right? We got enough chickens. We're bringing in 30 eggs a day. Okay, so 10 people can have 2 eggs this day. Tomorrow, 10 people can have 2 eggs that day. And you rotate that, right? So maybe twice a week, you're going to get a couple of eggs for breakfast. Then you have oatmeal. Then you have your pancakes. And you just have to think about your meats will be the first to run out. Yeah, because you can't replace them. Absolutely, JJ. You can't replace them. So again, with proper planning and getting things squared away ahead of time, you're going to be in a lot better shape. But if you can plan a menu out, like a 2 week menu, you can eat something different every day so you don't become bored with it. You can, like I said, change it up by using turkey gravy with your rice one day. Then later in the week, you use chicken gravy or beef gravy or, mix. So, again, a lot of different options that you can do, but you've got to plan it ahead of time. Doing it after an SHTF situation, you're going to be a lot more limited of what you're going to be able to do. So, that's important as well. I will trade anybody my tuna fish sandwich for 2 eggs. Oh, that's funny. But anyway, guys, it is that time. The time's gone by really, really fast. At 230 thumbs up today, so that's cool. Appreciate that. Again, I'm going to leave you with my favorite saying, STD, okay? Step, thing, and day. If you set realistic goals that you can achieve, and then you work towards getting there one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. It may not happen in the time frame that you want, but if you work at it methodically, it will happen. And the only person that can stop you from achieving realistic goals is you. That's it. Nobody else. If you stay positive, you stay away from negative people that tell you what you can't accomplish, then you can accomplish anything that you want to if you put your mind to it, okay? Stay positive, guys. Keep prepping. Keep getting ready. When that other shoe drops, again, I still believe it's going to be fast. It's going to be real fast, and it's going to get ugly real quick. So have your escape plans. Know where you're going to go. Know who you plan on working with. Be as ready as you can be. And when the time comes, hopefully we can still have some kind of humanity about us. So please be safe, okay? I will talk to you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.